Hello. This will probably be the most personal video that I will ever make. Um, so let's just get into it. My name is Parker, for one, and I'm going to be talking about Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and specifically why it means as much as it does to me, because it's an incredible game and I love it, and I would really like to talk about why it means as much as it does to me. So, a little bit of context, or I guess backstory. So, um, I'm mostly going to be talking about From the Ashes, the DLC, where you play as Sotlek. That is mostly what this is going to be about. Don't get me wrong, love the base game. The base game and the DLCs for that are incredible, and I will be touching on those as well. But this will mostly be about From the Ashes and Sotlek. So, for a little bit of context or backstory for myself, um, just fair warning, I might get emotional during this, so I do apologize. I lost my sister to gun violence when I was 5 years old, and I'm not going to go into any further detail about that because I am not emotionally able to talk about that without breaking down. So we will kind of, that is important though. Um, I really, when I first played Frontiers, needless to say, the opening cutscene alone had me pausing the game to finish crying due to what happens to Ahadi. And yeah, so, fun stuff with that. I have also lost a lot of my family. I lost my grandfather in March of 2020 to congestive heart failure. I lost my great grandfather in December of 2020, just old age, really. I lost my grandmother in August of 2021, and I just lost my great grandmother in July of 2025. I do not speak to my parents anymore. Um, they actually kind of decided they want nothing to do with me for a few reasons, which is a whole nother thing. I also have not spoken to my biological dad since I was 5. So I'm 23 now, so that's quite a few years where I have not spoken to him or seen him. So with that out of the way, with playing Frontiers, obviously the opening cutscene got me. But I have also never seen such accurate representation of PTSD and trauma responses in a game ever, especially through the surviving Sarin 2. Each of them have a very different way of coping with the loss of their clan and trying to uncover everything that has come of that. So with Talon, he was the youngest, so he was very much the most influenced by the RDA and Mercer. Nor was, I believe, the oldest, or the second oldest at the very least. So his anger towards the RDA and the humans make a lot of sense. He is all of the characters are extremely well written. Rinella just trying to keep everyone together, especially after the DLCs, is also very accurate to trying to find that sort of control over a situation that you really don't have control over. Tamte definitely seems to have a form of, I don't want to say survivor's guilt, but it can come off that way. They think about Ahari and their clan a lot, all of them do, but obviously it was very hard on Tamte watching their sister get killed. So that the representation alone made me feel so seen. Now, with From the Ashes, I have never been so moved by a game. And I'm going to go back to that. When I first, I had always liked Solek as a character. I think Solek was an amazing character from the start. I will also be briefly touching on the comic for him as well, because that is also very good. With Solek, I think the PTSD representation, because he canonically has PTSD, I believe that was confirmed in From the Ashes in his character bio. And I was diagnosed with PTSD at 8 years old, so it's pretty much all I've known is that mental state. And as I've gotten older, I've learned ways to cope with it, but it never really goes away. It still affects my day-to-day life. So when I played From the Ashes, I had never felt so seen by a character. Solek's representation of PTSD is probably one of the most accurate, if not the most accurate representation of PTSD I've seen in a video game. And for me personally, that is the most accurate to kind of how I feel with my PTSD, is he has lost everything. Like it's touched on in the games, but you see it in the comic how he lost his entire clan to the RDA. So it's just him. So there's that survivor's guilt, that lack of control, and that anger. Anger is not something that is usually shown with PTSD in media. It is almost always shown as panic attacks or shutting down, which are, of course, actual things that can happen. But very rarely is the anger side of PTSD touched on. So it was very kind of refreshing to see, very validating. And with Solek's character specifically, I'm going to be delving a lot into him and why I relate to him. This is a very personal video for me to make, but I think it's important for me and for others who might be dealing with similar things. I don't know. We'll see. So when I played From the Ashes for the first time, this was not too long after my parents decided they wanted nothing to do with me, so I felt very alone at the time. And it was around the holidays, so I was really not handling everything great. But I played From the Ashes, and I don't even know where to begin on how incredible that DLC is. Because Solek's determination throughout the entire thing it was very motivating. It was very moving for me, because I know what he feels. I have lost pretty much everything. And being around the Sarin too, and him having to kind of learn to let himself get close again, I feel is the best way to phrase that, is very well handled in the game. the scene that got me the most was actually from Secret of the Spires DLC, one of the final cutscenes where Sotlek is telling the Sarentu that they're not alone anymore, and Rinoa assures him that he is also not alone. That hit very close to home, and especially playing when I played because I played through the base game and the DLCs again before I touched From the Ashes. So when I played From the Ashes, it was just, I don't even know how to describe the feelings that I experienced while playing it, because I have never felt so validated or seen in media, because I don't even have the words. Now, with all of that, I quite enjoyed the gameplay alone, was very fun. But I am a huge sucker for good character writing and development. And From the Ashes nailed it. Now, one of my favorite tropes in media is the found family trope, and Frontiers handles that very well. It's a very well written game. The found family trope is especially shown in not only at the end of Secret of the Spires, but From the Ashes. You can see how deeply Sotlek cares for each of the Sarentu and is willing to risk everything to get them back, because he's not going to lose them again. He's not going to lose anyone else again. There is a piece of dialogue where he says, "I will not lose anyone else." And the performance, the actor who plays Sotlek Dusan did phenomenal. I could go on and on about that, but that would be a whole other video. Long story short, the acting is phenomenal and it nails the entire thing home. It's wonderful to see. What I liked is, at least for me, playing as someone who has PTSD and can really relate to Sotlek, it felt like he was trying to have that kind of control to get back something similar to what he's lost, because he lost his clan, so he's now part of the Sarentu. And the final, not the final cutscene, but the cutscene where he joins the Sarentu clan was also very emotional for me. It's done really well, and I really enjoyed seeing it. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it's my first time doing one of these videos, so it's gonna be mostly me rambling. But the found family trope is, like I said, is one of my favorites in media, and I love when it's handled well. And once again, where I relate to Sotlek is when I got the job that I am currently at. It felt like my life drastically changed for the better. I met amazing people, one of them being my wife. I've met so many incredible people that I'm so fortunate to call my family now. I would do anything for them. And that final cutscene where Sotlek is part of the Sarentu hit really hard for me. I would do anything for my family, anything. I would also probably tear through the RDA with my bare hands for my family. Seeing Sotlek's perseverance, determination, his strength through it was very moving and very inspiring. as I had been very much struggling with my mental health at the time of playing From the Ashes. It was very motivating for me to keep going, to not give up, to not give in, to fight for my family. And I, once again, owe a lot of that to the performance of Doosan. Phenomenal. Like I said, I'm not going to start that tangent because it will go on forever. My life has been defined by loss. That's pretty much all anyone knew me as, was when I was growing up. Was, everyone knew that my sister was murdered, and then in the past, since the pandemic, I have really lost everything that I've known my whole life, and it's hard. It is so hard to push through that sometimes, because you just don't know what to do. Everything has been uprooted, and I didn't know what to do. But when I found my family, my people, I clung to them and I pushed through for them because they mean everything to me. And I don't know where I'd be without them. So while my life has been defined by loss, my sister, my grandfather, my great grandfather, my grandmother, and my great grandmother, I mourn what I have lost, yes, but I am also very proud of what I've built, what I have put together from the pieces of essentially who I was before. And I really do owe quite a bit of that to Frontiers. Because if it weren't for the incredible writing, the characters, I don't think I would have felt as validated as I have been when I played it. It it really is a beautifully written game. And like I said, From the Ashes, I don't think I have ever been so moved by a piece of media in general. And I've played tons of games, I've watched tons of movies, tons of shows. So I'm sorry if you can hear my cat screaming in the background. It's, very moving, and it's important. Good representation is very important. And I will very much advocate for that. Representation is very important, and I think when it is handled well, it can change how people view things, because it definitely changed my viewpoints on quite a few things. It I like I said, I don't have the words for it. It's just incredible what that game has achieved with people, because I have also talked to people who enjoy the game and who have also felt very moved by certain characters. So it's very nice to see how it's also kind of brought a community together, which I guess the Avatar fandom in general has done that. And once again, I don't have the words. It's incredible. Everything about it. If you feel alone and you feel like you don't have anyone, I can guarantee you have at least one person who cares about you. And if you do, if you know who that individual is, don't let them go. One person can change so much. I will also be linking resources down below for mental health resources, in case anyone needs those. I don't really know where to go with this other than thank you to the creative team behind Frontiers because it very much changed my outlook on life. And especially thank you to Dusan for putting everything into Soulback because the character alone means so much to so many people, including myself. And it's amazing. It's just incredible. I don't really know what else to say. So